cloth.
Yep. Yeah, this has been quite the craziness, right?
Are you guys both laid off or whatever?
No, we're actually both working right now.
From home?
I'm working from.
Yeah,
Wait.
Elliot's. I'm actually I'm still working out in the field, but since I don't really have any contact with anybody, it doesn't really. Well, we're considered essential business, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So obviously, I would rather not be out, and I'd rather be at home. But it's so. This is why, like I mentioned, I was furloughed, and then I was called back.
Yeah. Couple hours.
Like 6 hours later, basically, and I was like, okay.
Back.
What have you been doing?
That's pretty cool. That doesn't happen to most people.
Yeah, for real. What have you been up to since this?
Well, I pretty happy with all this time. I've actually been writing music, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that all the time in the world. Like I've even on vacations in the past, you're always like thinking about stuff. You got stuff to do, and this is like the whole world stopped, and now I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm writing.
Yeah, I figured that a lot of artists would probably see this as some sort of like they would see the positive part of the fact that they can now work on music, which is good. But for the people that were trying to go on tour and trying to play a ton. Oh, you did?
I was gonna go on. Wait, are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? Is the corona hitting your house?
That's so bad.
I had a tour booked too. I had a lot of shows booked, but it's okay.
Yeah. How far out were you? How far out were you booked?
I have a show in June. I don't know if that's happening or not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's the scary thing about this is that we have no idea how long this is gonna last.
Yeah, because they say right now the peak is gonna be in May, the beginning of May. That's just the peak. That's not even like the other end side of the spectrum, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, personally, I don't think anyone really knows how long this is gonna last. That's my personal opinion on it.
Oh yeah, nobody knows anything.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes for months, to be honest.
It probably will.
Yeah, for sure.
But the cool thing is that there's a ton of people learning, or rather using the internet to their disposal and performing live and stuff like that on, you know.
It's interesting how like things adapt, you know? Obviously, I think most people would prefer an actual live show because there's nothing like that. But it's amazing to see all the support people have been giving to these virtual shows, you know?
Yeah.
Things like people just supporting each other, you know, donating, and then also just sharing each other's stuff. Like, hey, check out this artist, like, blah, blah, blah. There's been so much good stuff going on.
Yeah. It's definitely a good time for people to start checking things out that they haven't checked out yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like I just started listening to Grizzly Bear. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a fan. I gotta say, their stuff is awesome.
There you go.
Is there anything new that you've been checking out?
I feel like I check out new stuff every day. You know, Discover Weekly on Spotify and stuff. Like, I'll make sure to listen to that on Monday and like listen to it a couple times to see if there's anything. So I guess I've been kind of re-listening to stuff that's inspired me in the past, like Portishead and My Brightest Diamond, to kind of get in the feel of like a little bit of weirdness and like, you know, just expressing. So, yes.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, it would be amazing right now if Portishead released some new music.
What? Yes. They
right?
should.
Because they've been on hiatus for a while now.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still technically a band or whatever, but I know they can do it.
Yeah, they definitely could. So in terms of you writing your own stuff right now, I mean, how far along are you with songs and whatnot?
Song number 2, baby, woo! But like, the one song, did you see the song I put out, this old world?
Yes.
So that I recorded everything in a couple hours. Like it was one day that I did that, and the video just. So I had one day of focus and was able to put that out. And I was like, there's this new like. So I used Spire, Spire, and that's a recording. It's kind of like a dumbed down garage band.
Okay.
And it's a little too dumbed down, but the audio is really good. So what I've been doing now is recording on Spire and then sending it to GarageBand on my laptop and then tinkering with it there. So the one day is taking much longer. I had to like take a break because I was getting frustrated. But I can imagine, with people that recording artists, like producers, whatever people that, what are those called?
Like engineers?
Yeah, like studio engineers, people that record stuff and then tinker with it to make it sound better. Like they have a gift.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't have the patience for it, man. I really don't.
I spent an hour trying to get a beat like perfectly on. I'd listen to it a little off, like move it, and then it was still off. And like an hour later, I was listening to it and I was like, that's off. And like, I was like, dude, I'm done.
flipping tables over and shit.
Yeah, I flipped my bed over.
So mad.
It was just like I couldn't flip it.
Well, so actually, funny that you say that because for the album Alienation, we actually, for a couple songs, so I think one of them was On the Moon and the other one was Frijoles Bacanos. We actually recorded a, I guess like a snare from the synth that we have.
From the what?
The synth that we have, like our Roland JDXI.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally copied and pasted that snare on every snare hit.
How do you do? Oh, okay. So that like one snare hit that was good, you were like, okay. So how'd you do the timing for that? Because it must have been like.
It took hours.
There are a lot of snare hits. You don't realize how many snare hits a song has.
There's one hit in it.
Yeah, literally. So what most, I guess what most producing people like Jordan Esker, for example, I knows how to do this. There's actually programs made for that. So I think what it does, it's basically, it acts like a gate. So all it does is replaces the I guess original snare hit with like a sampled one. There's programs that do that specifically. Yeah. Actually, most like pop artists, most new recording artists, they actually use all samples. That makes sense?
Is it ever live, or is it just like? Do you think it's just tapping?
It's so basically like, let's say a drummer records, right? Then they'll have programs that can insert just like a sampled snare or sampled kick and replace the previous one. It just kind of like locks on to the same like time, like basically where that was recorded onto. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Or they actually sell triggers, which is something that you actually put physically on a snare, a tom, a kick, or something like that, and that also does the same thing. It's like almost like a little pad thing that you just put on the snare, and as you're playing it live, it records on a different track, and then you can basically assign any snare sound that you want to that trigger.
Craziness, technology, craziness.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. It's like if you can get like a cool.
There was like I wanted to. What I do was there was a certain hit because I put like the drum on my bed and I recorded it and it ended up sounding really freaking cool and I don't even know how I did it, but it was like and like was super reverby and I was like, whoa. And I tried to do it again and I couldn't do it. So I wanted to take like those just the hits, and put those as something where I could put them on the computer and like just do those. But I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I'm really my knowledge of all that stuff is very basic because I tend to use the organic instrument to do all that stuff.
Right. Which I think is the way to go, you know? But
Yeah.
just use have little tricks here and there.
Yeah. I mean, if you need any help with that stuff, I can definitely I can try and help you. I wouldn't mind.
You're gone. You're gone.
Oh no. Can you hear?
Now I can't. When you freeze, it's like
That needs to be the screenshot for the podcast. Just
yeah.
We're all doing that. Yeah, exactly.
So, you mentioned before that you're planning on recording an album. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I liked how the first song turned out, and I was like, well, I might as well do this for 10 other songs, you know, and just write them. I have the time. So it's like kind of a goal to try. No, I'm going to, by the time this is all over, have at least a 10-song album that I recorded by myself, like just using GarageBand, pretty much.
Yeah. That's cool. That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But what I want, that's why I said I'm like pretty happy, you know. I am grateful, I guess, for this time. And it's an awful time, of course, but making the best of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I mean, I've said this before, but we were technically planning on going on a hiatus for a bit to work on new music, and this happened to happen literally exactly when we played our last show.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know. It's a weird thing because my worry is always like getting behind other or whatever, just getting behind in general with music and playing and stuff. And this weirdly slows everything down, but at the expense of obviously other people. I don't want that to happen. That's the thing. Uh-oh. It's gone.
Okay. So are you guys in different rooms or the same house?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the office.
You're in the office?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it'd be weird to hear him and then hear him again in my ears, so we thought that this would be better.
Yeah, it's for the actual recording purposes of it sounding okay, because otherwise there's just going to be a ton of delay and it's going to sound super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Experimental podcasting.
Yeah, so actually a ton of the podcasts that I listen to, this is what they're doing too. They're just Skyping or whatever whatever program they're using. They're doing that with their guest.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like all these new things, and well, they're not new at all, but now it's. I bet Skype, the owners of Skype, are like, "Woo, bring it up."
Definitely.
Yep. No, they're I mean, I don't know how they get paid per se. I don't know because this is free. I haven't put any money to use this, but I wonder, how they're making money off of this.
Yeah, because there's no ad. I bet like people that use it a lot probably have to put in money to get better quality and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, it's worth it." So I'm sure.
True.
There's a thing that my friend and I started called a slam song.
A what?
A slam song. Like, you know how they have slam poetry where they're like, so this is like a slam song where someone writes a song and they send it to you, and that's the slong. You shorten it to slong, and yes, I know it sounds like schlong, but but so then you write a response, and it could be like your inspiration from their song. It could be like one word you take. It could be just any reaction, and write a song and send it back. And you just go back and forth, and it's really good motivation to write. So um, that's all I have to say about that.
That's
A couple people, but yeah, I recommend it.
honestly would be. I feel like going off of that too. A cool idea would be to kind of send like someone, maybe start with like a section A of a song, send it
Mm-hmm.
to someone else, do a section B,
Oh, I would
like
share up. I would have them send it, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, well now we're gonna go crazy."
dude, I would. I mean, this is like the perfect because all you have to do technically is send over the stems. And the only thing is I don't know how that would work if you're using different programs,
Yeah.
but if we could figure that out, yeah, that would be cool as shit. Because then you can just have everyone recording in their respective homes or whatever, and then just kind of like,
Build on.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be
Most of these programs you can at the very least upload audio. You wouldn't be able to do anything to what they did, but you could literally upload it as audio and then add your part, and then they would probably just have to send you the same thing, send you like a MP3, like, and then you would upload it again into Pro Tools, and then you go from there. Is the only way I can think of.
Pro Tools. My friend Summer, she sent me a song that she was working on. It was just guitar and vocals stripped down, and she just sent it in a text as like an MP3, I think. And I was like, I wonder if, because I heard like harmonies, and I was like, how can I like just have this so I can sing over it? And so the Spire, I was able to import it to the Spire and record just vocals over it and guitar stuff on different tracks, and sent it back to her, and she was like, so that's an idea. I mean, you guys should check it out and see if it's like the Spire. I mean, see if that's something that could work for that concept.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because Bryant from Samurai Shotgun, the bass player,
Okay.
he's been asking us to write music with him for a while, and obviously, like, I don't want to necessarily get him sick or him get us sick, so it'd have to be remotely. And I think that's what we were kind of thinking of doing, was sending him the session that we come up with or something.
So you would have an already, like, you guys would write a song, and or would you just even have like what you're working and then send it to him?
I don't know. That's actually, I guess that's something that we would talk about, see like what he would prefer. Like, should we send him a full song, or should we just send him like a part or something and then just kind of build it that way,
That would kind of be in line with what you were saying before, the writing A and then B, like, or not. So there'd be like writing like a line of A and a line of A and then a.
See, so he's a bass player. I think something to having someone write extra sections or something would be something to do more with a songwriter. So, for example, yourself, someone like Jordan or something like that.
It'd be like a group, but virtual.
Yeah, exactly. That would be cool.
That would be so interesting. I'd be afraid to fuck it up though. It's gone like all around me, and I'm like, bleh.
Dude, there's literally no way that you could fuck up a song, Emily.
Thanks, man.
You're literally one of my favorite songwriters.
Oh, you come on, you're blushing on camera.
I'm serious.
And you guys, and saying that you might like, you're working on new stuff to put out. Put that shit out.
This is the time.
Yep.
After this call, actually, I have to practice his drum part for this new song that we have. I almost have it down. I just have to keep practicing it.
Yeah, you are good at practice. I did from when I was in that other band. I think I said it to you, and I was like, it was so good. Like, it was so fun and so effortless, like just melding with you guys. So It would be fun to do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I want to like play in more bands. It's kind of it's a good and bad thing because obviously playing in more bands just means you have less time for, well, you know, the main projects that you're trying to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
But god damn it, dude, like when you just know, like for example, like if we played together, I know that we would make some dope shit. Like I know that just because like there's mutual we have mutual interest in what kind of music.
Right.
I mean, a good example was the supergroup, honestly.
Right. And you know what's funny is like I feel like with the limited time that we used to have, it's not. I feel like band is kind of like we're in a relationship where it doesn't have to be like that. I feel like it can be so like is the right word superfluous?
Superfluous.
What?
Thus,
Superfluous.
you know.
Well, okay, so I think I get what you're saying. I think that just depends on like the conversation that you have with that person. So, for example, Jordan, myself, and another friend of ours, Tito, kind of started a project. I would call it a project.
Mm-hmm.
We only got together one time, recorded 3 things, and we haven't seen each other since. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's something that we could.
To get is that based on those 3 songs that you would like dedicate more time to? Was it just fun for the moment type thing?
No, so Tito ended up moving to Orlando. Is really the main. Yeah.
Well then, go.
Yeah, but I want to continue it. Like that would be cool. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it just depends on what your priorities are and what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, do you want to make a whole album? Do you just want to jam together, or like I don't know? There's so many different things that come out of doing a project or being in a band. Like a lot of people have collaborated on one album, and then, but they still are their solo project type thing. You know, it gets so because like I forgot what I was gonna say. Did you see where it went?
All right, well,
it went that way.
I have a question for you then. Okay, so then what do you want to do, Emily? Like, what do you want to do with music?
Froze again, and you froze like this, and you froze like this.
What do you want to do with music, Emily? Like, what are your plans?
I want it to be my full-time job, right? And if it was my full-time job, meaning that I spent like 8 hours a day just writing music, you know, and still having on my own schedule, having time to go out and go for a bike ride, go for a walk, go to the beach, and then come back clear-headed and write. I guess my goal would be how to make money off of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but does that mean you as a solo artist, or do you mean just in general? Like, it could be with a band, it could be with, you know, let's say you're a hired musician or something like that.
You'll have to repeat that because you froze.
Oh.
Couldn't tell you.
So would that do you mean specifically as like a solo musician, or would you be interested in doing that with a band or being a hired musician?
So I have always loved like not hired musician. That sounds so cool. The as a band is like that would be number one because that is and the, like having people that I just like am in awe of and you know anyway so and also enjoy like their company. That's the thing. Like I said, bands are like relationships, so it's like finding people that are like the ones, you know. But Wow, I've been saying a lot. Can you really help? I guess I'm trying to figure out what I want. I guess. See, the the band would be top because again, it's bouncing off each other. It's being inspired by each other, and then when you perform, it's that combined energy of like all together, one unit. Bam, we are as one. Uh, Now the solo stuff, I guess I never believed that I could do it on my own. I don't like being the center of attention, I guess. So like people are like, why don't you just have a band, Emily, like the Emily Turns band or something? I'm like, that sounds weird. Like that I wouldn't like. I mean, I guess I've never let it. I've never fathomed it. Like but then I look at Brandy Carlisle, and Brandy Carlisle, look up to so much. You guys know Brandy Carlisle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And she's just Brandy Carlisle with her band, And I mean, she wrote the songs, like how she has those two twins back her up.
Okay.
And they're amazing artists themselves. But it's Brandy Carlisle. So I don't know. I guess I haven't figured out what I want. I don't know. So until then.
So I can, if you don't, like, in my opinion, I think what you could do, I think actually you writing this album is a great idea. What you could do after that is you just basically reach out to artists that you trust and that you enjoy and just basically have them.
After this, like, I see, so like the first album I put out is the solo acoustic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the raw version. Then the next version is going to be me, producing my own album with different layers and all new stuff. And then the next album, or it could be part of this album, no one gives a shit. It would be, like you said, I would love to collaborate with multiple musicians. Like, I dig that so much.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Just do it. Don't be afraid. I mean, the cool thing about writing like, let's say like you write a full album and you have all the parts laid out there. The cool thing about that is that there's a ton of musicians in our scene that would be willing to just help you make that come to life.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, so Jordan Esker is kind of the person that got me into even trusting people with doing that. So, for example, him asking me to play guitar.
Froze that. Jordan Esker got me into.
He's the person that got me into trusting other musicians to do that, because I was so close to the music that I didn't want anyone fucking up what we did. And
what if you have someone do that and then they play something and you're like, that's nice, but
but you have to be honest.
Yeah, it's I'm just gonna turn my fan on real quick because it's hot.
Yeah, you just have to be honest with them. Like, for example, Jaron Jammer, he played guitar for us the last show that we played at Huchenhive, and he was learning songs or whatever, and we had to specifically tell him what not and what to do, because we try and give him a little bit of freedom to do some, whatever kind of improv that he wanted to do on songs. But like someone like him, for example, he appreciated the fact that we would let him know when to do something and when not to do something.
Yeah.
And the thing is too is like, if you think about it, like you do that with your band. Like, there's been plenty of times that I've played a beat and they don't like it, or they, Daniel will play a guitar riff and it's just like, I'm just not feeling it. One of us won't like it, and it is what it is. So it's like, if you are going to be a musician, you need to be open to hear those things and then kind of keep it moving. It's like, it's not that you suck. It's just play something a little different. That's all. You know what I mean? It's just, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. Constructive criticism.
Yeah. Once once you do release your album, and if you're looking for musicians to play that shit, let me know, dude. I'll fucking play it.
I like every time I watch the supergroup video, I'm like, how the hell did they come up with such awesome artistic shit so quick? Like, it went so well. It gelled. I think
Gelded it did. Gelded it did.
Gelled did so well. It's so good. Absolutely. I respect you guys as musicians so much and would be into that for sure.
Oh, likewise, dude. I mean, when we had Matt over for his podcast, we talked about that a little bit, and I was just like, dude, I wish that we could have started playing as a band right after that. He was like, yeah, it makes sense. I was like, yeah, it was just so easy. You know what I mean? It was, I don't know. The thing is it's so you're giving us gratitude, or you're saying that we kind of did it so quickly, but like when you write a great song, it's just easy to add to.
Yeah.
You know? So actually, I should post that on this podcast, that song, so people can see it. But
the link will be in the description.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. But yeah, that was such a cool thing to do. And honestly, like, another thing is I've been wanting to play a different instrument in a different group for a while now, because I'm getting kind of tired of playing guitar all the time.
What are you itching to play?
So personally, drums.
You can play this bed. Oh, the batteries ran out because I left it on. Oh,
What is that?
It would have been so cool to have that on a podcast.
What is that?
This is a automatune, and I got it for Christmas, and it goes, and you can change like the. Man, I wish I could tell you. I can't believe I left it on. That's so dumb. Oh well, and you can go. I got it for me for Christmas, and he knows what's up.
I officially want to learn how to play that instrument. That's my next instrument.
Do it.
I've been wanting to say that this entire freaking podcast too. Is like, you guys know, like, you guys play multiple instruments. I just play the fucking drums, and it's great. It's and it's great. It's fun. Being a drummer is, the tits. But I can't. I can't write a song and send it to anyone. So
you write a rap and send it to someone.
I could do what?
You could write a rap beat and send it to someone.
That's true. That is not my first choice of music, though. But yeah,
good. You probably could write a song on drums. Someone could listen to it and just listen for like the nuances and stuff, and write a song based on it. I bet you they could. Challenge.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I've been telling her that for like ever.
Oh.
Way to take a shit on what you just said, bro. You haven't been telling me to do that forever, though.
It's been a while since I've been telling you. I just had this conversation with her just the other day, where it's like, if you wrote a drum part, we could easily write something on top of it.
Absolutely, and it probably inspired us to do something we haven't done before in regards to sound, because who's written a song like that? Not very many people.
Yeah.
Not Eric Clapton or something, but I had a dream about Prince last night.
Really?
I think so. I just remembered it just now. I just remember having a lot of respect for him.
Really? You're a fan of his music?
No, I didn't used to be, and then I think I just because I was like, to me he sounded like a mic, like, God, this is gonna sound so bad. You don't have to put this on the podcast, but
it's okay. You can be racist on it.
Pre-woke Emily thought that Prince was ripping off Michael Jackson.
Oh, no.
I just didn't like him. I don't know why. I just didn't like his music. There's certain people that you just don't connect with their music, because I felt like his music was like kind of beboppy and like just not my style, which is fine. But then I just got to like learn more about him, I guess, and I watched the thing that really like switched me, princed me was that I saw the Super Bowl show he did from like years ago.
Yeah, in Miami, right?
Yeah, one he did it like live in the rain, real rain. It wasn't fake rain, and like he just ruled it. He just was like, "This is who I am," and I love myself, and I'm so into this. And you know, he wrote a song like every day. He had a vault full of songs.
That's crazy, dude.
That's like love for music right there.
That so it's so at the first time, because I never really listened to Prince, but I know that obviously I know he's popular and I've heard some of his songs. But when I saw him, I think it was at a benefit concert. I saw him just play guitar, and I was like, "Holy shit, this motherfucker can rip!" I mean, he's really good.
Mm-hmm. At the
He's
benefit.
yeah, he. So it was weird because I feel like most people don't know that about him. That he
Yeah.
can
And he plays
that he's
guitar.
yeah, well, that he's a really good guitar player. That he's like he's nasty. And when he came out, he fucking ripped that. I think it was While My Guitar Gently Weeps. He played the solo, and oh my god, I was like, whoa, this guy is nasty. And then I started checking out a little bit more of his stuff. And I'll be honest, like I'm not a huge fan of his music too much, but I still respect the fact. I respect him as an artist. I mean, he
I
can
think
play
we're
everything.
both then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is fine. That's okay.
You
You
might
don't,
have to dream about him soon too.
yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to like everything. There's so much music out there that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nickelback.
definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yes. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so what music don't you like? Oh, here's a better question. What local artist don't you like?
Not answering that.
Next question, bro.
I know.
I don't
It's
think
weird. So actually, let me ask you this then. How would you respond to, let's say, another local artist? How would you respond to them being completely honest with you, saying that I respect you as a musician, but I don't necessarily care for the music? How would you respond to that?
I'd be like, that's cool. Like that's a great thing to say. I think
Me too. Yeah.
because that's like you said, you're not gonna like everyone's music, but that's very nice of them to throw some respect and yeah, I think that's a really cool statement. Actually.
I wish people were more honest, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you know how you play a show and you play with a band that you're just like they were all right. They weren't. I didn't care for the music, but they're a good band. But then you go and you do the great set.
I've done that. I'm so guilty of that. Like because it's all I don't know. I've struggled a lot on that actually because my ex like he'd be like, "What do you think of this band?" I'd be like, I'd think of like something positive that I could say about him, and she was like, "Yeah, but what do you really think?" And I was like, "I like the blah 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 blah." And she was like, "Come on, like give me like something." And so then we came up with this thing. It was like yay or nay, and that was like, do you really really like this band, or is it just below that? And so I was able to be like yay or nay. That was easier than saying I don't like them because of this, or
Right.
So, but I would never say that to them. Be like you're nay.
Yeah.
Just excuse me. It would just be so we could share our thoughts on it. And to this day, I think like I I don't think I could honestly communicate how I feel about certain bands to them because I have my own opinions and I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't.
Well, yeah, because you're worried that they wouldn't take it the right way, that they would be offended, basically.
Right way.
Yeah.
There's probably a really good way to say it anytime, but I don't know how. Like, I wouldn't be mean about it. I just would I'm pretty empathetic and like would not want to hurt their feelings at all. So to figure out a way to say that, I just don't know how. So
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that they don't ask either, right?
that's right. And when they do, good job, guys.
Wait, have bands asked you?
Don't ask me what I think.
That's never happened to me. No one's ever asked me, what do you think of our music?
Oh, really?
No.
I mean, I'm thinking like live shows. They're like, oh, how'd we do? What'd you think?
Oh, but are you talking about specifically like friends of yours that play music?
No, I'm not talking about anyone. Buddy that I know.
Wait. Are you talking about us, Emily?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's okay, dude. You can say it right now. Just say it. I don't like your music.
Say it.
I love your music. You're actually on my Spotify so that you come on.
Dude, that would be awesome if you just
You?
if you just said like right now, like, okay, so I have something to tell you guys.
I've actually never liked your shit.
Luckily, I feel like your shit.
That would be so funny. No, so this is actually kind of funny. So obviously like family members and whatnot that they try and support your music, but you just know that they don't like it. And
my mom, she luckily tells me straight up, that song sucks. She'll be like, that song wasn't for me, or that song's so angry, or which I really appreciate. Like, yeah, it hurts a little bit, but I'm like, no, like I like her feedback because I know that she'll give me the honest opinion, which is what I'm working on.
Yeah, that's my mom does that too, and she even tries to give me advice on like how to write a poppy song.
She's like, no, but write a song like that song that's on the radio 50 times a day, you know?
Yeah, just write something that people can like.
Yeah, that's all I think would want.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like obviously I know what she means, but if I were like a sensitive person, I could totally take offense to that and be like, "So are you saying that I don't try that already?"
Yeah.
She's
That's
like basically
kind of rude.
Yeah, well, she's brash.
Which is good. Like I said, I respect that when people express their opinions. I should get better at it. Maybe you guys can help me. We can have a non-podcast where we talk about that, and we can like talk. We can just talk. I think you guys have tried to do that to me before, actually, where you like. Well, honestly, I feel like you've done that before.
Well, we've been to shows together where we've looked at each other and we've been yay or nay. We've done that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've definitely looked back at each other and said nay.
And we feel comfortable talking to you guys about like certain bands and what I like about them and what I don't like about them. And I think that's okay to talk about those things to familiar company and people you trust, rather than directly to the band if they don't, right?
Yeah, it's not talking. So like I guess someone might see that as talking shit or maybe saying something bad behind that band's back, but it's like it's never egregious. It's always, this is just our opinion of the music, not necessarily opinion of them as people or them as a band.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I respect every person, that is putting themselves out there. So there's that.
But the thing is just like we can't pretend like all music is going to be enjoyed. For example, both of us, I mean, not everyone is gonna enjoy our music. You know
True.
what I mean? So it's like I would prefer for someone not to bullshit me and just be honest with me and say, you
Yeah,
know,
but what if they're just a sourpuss?
that's possible. But we don't really have anything like we're not like it's not like we're anybody for them to be jealous or anything. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, we're not famous.
Yes.
Exactly. We're not Billie Eilish.
What?
Billie Eilish? You don't
Billie
know who that is?
Eilish?
Is
No,
it
I don't know
Eilish?
who Billie Eilish.
Am I saying it
The
wrong?
coolest in the world, then.
Wait, I'm saying it correctly, right?
Yeah, you're saying it. Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
She's
You don't know who?
Oh, you are saying it right. Okay. I do know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
bringing the
Like,
90s.
yeah, like her stuff. Like, I'm not really. There's cool aspects to it, but I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I like it. It starts to sound all the same. My friend made a joke that uh millennials, and I hate when people use those terms, but millennials like her because they can listen to her without the older generation hearing because she sings so quietly. She like whispers things. You're always like, is she singing right now?
That's so silly.
That's so silly. They can't even hear.
Like I think I hear him talking.
It's so that concept too of an artist like her because from what I can understand, the way that she recorded her music was basically in a in basically like a home studio, and everything is MIDI, right?
I'm not sure what MIDI is, but
So basically, what we were talking about earlier, where there's like it's called a MIDI controller. It's basically like a keyboard, and you plug it into your laptop, and then that way you can assign the keys to whatever you want, whether it be drums,
so
keys.
like on GarageBand they have that, but with the keyboard on here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe all of their music is kind of made that way, and it's just interesting to think that someone that probably put not too much money into that project ended up becoming super famous from it.
It does seem like pretty humble.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that because I don't know her, but she just seems like it to me. I don't know. She also is very young, so maybe that's why she's just like, what is going on? Because she's like a superstar.
That would be it would be a weird that would be so weird to happen.
I had a dream that you guys know who Haley Williams is,
No.
the singer of Paramore.
From Paramore,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I had it when I was like 16 or 17. That was like my world. Okay, and so I had a dream. I think it was last night. I still have to write it down. That like I was able to book a show with her with Paramore, and she called me on my personal phone, and I wasn't like, oh, hey you guys, it's Haley Williams. I was just like, be right back. And she was saying something about like Henry, how Henry didn't want her to play music or something. I don't know where that name came from, but and I made her laugh. I don't know how, and then that was it. But I was like, oh, I gotta go get my friend from 10 years ago that I was in a band in, like an all-girl band, because they got to play this show with me because that's our dream come true. And it's funny because it's like a 10-year-old dream, a goal coming into my dream. I don't know. I don't know what the point of that story was, but
I think what you're trying to say is that that's your dream and that that's what you're aspiring towards is opening for Paramore with your old band.
but you know, it's
I
don't think
let's
so.
tag them.
It was my old band. We wrote songs that were like, because we were 17, and there's all these guy bands and stuff. And we're like, we wrote a song that was like, what was it? God's think guys think they're God's gift to the world, but that was before he created the girl.
Oh my
So
god.
corny. It was so corny. I
Man.
don't think I would play in that band in front of Paramore. But it's
actually,
funny because, like, so Haley Williams, she just put out a new album, and it's all solo stuff, but it's really heavily produced and stuff. And I feel like to her, it's getting experimental or a little weird. However, to me, it's just, it's still, she cannot break away from her poppiness, you know?
gotcha.
You should listen to some of it and let me know what you think. But I mean, she's got a great voice. That's what always killed me, is that she has such great potential, but never pushed herself to like get a little weird. You know, maybe I don't know.
It's I think that's hard for artists because they don't want to lose their audience.
Yeah, but I mean, their audience, like I think her audience got younger when a lot of people should grow with their audience. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I agree with you, but the thing is, like, so for example, if you, let's say you became famous, or you whatever, you started building a career based off of music that was considered poppy. Imagine then going into a point where you could lose that all just because you release something that's different.
Think of, I bet there's an example that one of us can think of that started as pop and then got like more experimental. Can you think of anyone?
I mean, yeah, like Radiohead.
Do you
Yeah.
think started as poppy?
I think that,
Poppier.
yeah, they were more their first two albums are definitely more what would you say, that was more
I guess it's not
approachable.
popular. Yeah, but that.
Is that like Creep and
Yes.
but
Yeah.
even they're like dark, you know?
Yeah, it's funny because we've talked about them so much on this podcast, but the honest truth is, like, after their album OK Computers, which was considered like an enormous album when it came out, it was considered, probably, I think it was considered the best album of the year. Their next album, Kid A, when they released that, I mean, it was a huge it was a huge deter no what's the word it was a huge difference uh between the music, because they went into more electronic music, and it was just weird. It was very weird.
So they
And
didn't lose their audience, did they?
no,
They
they
probably
ended they definitely gained some, and then I'm sure they lost some people, but for the most part, I think people reveled the fact that they took a chance.
Yeah.
That's why I
Absolutely.
like them. That's why I like them so much.
Yeah.
You know.
I
Um,
think
I
it's like that. Until, what was it, Light Grenades or something? Or the one after Light Grenades, but they used to be very experimental and weird, and they did the opposite where they got more poppy as time went on and like stopped pushing themselves and trying new things. That's a bummer. But we're talking about the opposite.
do you think that in, I guess, as for yourself as a songwriter, do you think that that's something that you'll strive for, like changing up all the time?
Always. If I ever get caught in something where it's like a formula for a song, or if I feel like I've done it before, or if it's just easy, if it's easy, then I'll know that I am at like a plateau, and that's not good.
That's cool.
There's so many layers of music that I mean, who's someone you can think of that has been playing for a very long time and still pushes themselves? St. Vincent, maybe.
Vincent.
St. Vincent.
Oh, Saint Vincent. I don't. Is that an artist? I don't know who that is.
St. Vincent. Oh, I'm gonna make. Oh, I got low power. I want to make you guys a playlist, and I would love if you guys made me a playlist too of just music you like in general.
Oh, hell yeah! Fuck yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be sick. Yeah, it's because, so for me personally, like, I find myself, when I'm writing songs, I find myself basically throwing away a ton of ideas because, one, I feel like it's similar to something I've done already, or
Yeah.
two, I just don't think it's good enough, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, same here. And I think that's what, and I wonder if people that are a little more poppy, if they ever throw anything away, or like sounds good to them, or are we just more picky, or I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, the other thing too is like if you're a pop artist, I feel like most of the time they have people writing music for them anyway.
Yeah.
So it might just be, oh, this is gonna be your next hit kind of thing.
It's
So
a
just
whole different realm, because they're not even artists at that point. Yes, they're amazing singers, like they really are. But it's just not an artistic expression. Like I'm being a little negative. I'm sorry. It's a whole different. Let's just put it that way.
No, that is
no,
different.
man.
If you don't put your time into it to like write something on it, like I just feel like it's a completely different world than what we're speaking is something that I don't think they experience. You know, when a song finally comes together and it starts sounding right and stuff like that.
Right.
It's different.
Right. It's
I don't think you're wrong though, Emily. I don't think you're wrong at all to say that because honestly, if you're not if you're not challenging yourself as a songwriter, then all you're doing is regurgitate. You're just basically you're just like a money machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just regurgitating whatever someone hands you.
Right.
There's no, in my opinion, there's no artistic integrity there.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing because obviously, okay, so and I'll say this. This is a good example, in my opinion, of what some people might consider super poppy, but like the Beatles, for example. You know, they were super poppy, and they always had some sort of single at some point in their albums. Even if the albums are really weird, they still had something that was relatively catchy, and I mean, they were writing that shit from for themselves, really.
Yeah.
And they're probably one of the most, popular bands still to this day.
They were remarkable. Like you never could guess which way their songs were gonna go. Yes, they followed this like beautiful mountain range of melody, but you never knew. Like to me, it always, I don't know. I think they like. Oh, my mom just texted and said, "Are you done with your podcast?"
We'll wrap it up because we're approaching an hour. So
It's just so easy to talk to you guys.
I know, for real.
I don't think it's necessarily about writing catchy things, but it's like if it just comes to you, then that's where it's at. You know what I mean? Like I'm never gonna say no to something that one of you guys write just because no, that's too catchy. Yeah, but is it good though? You know, that's what it should be about. And they happen to do that really well.
Really
where it was catchy.
It cut you out. Can you say that again? It was really important.
Just the fact that something being catchy shouldn't be what has people say no to writing that song. You know what I mean? Like forcing yourself to be different, saying no to catchy things just because is silly. It should just be like, is it good? You know, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's Daniel's point is the Beatles had the combination of catchy, artistic, unpredictable, but and poppy, like all of those things combined into one.
Yeah, for sure. It came off really naturally when they did it.
Right. Lucky bastards.
So I guess yeah, we'll start wrapping this up. I mean, what like for the listener, what can you plug so that they can stay tuned for, I guess, any releases or where they can check out some music that you already have?
Yeah. So like I said, at Spotify, I have my album, just raw acoustic. It's songs from the past 10 years. And so that's there. It's, it's kind of like my past. I just had to put that out there. And now I'm looking to the future. So my Instagram, Emily Turnage's Tunage, that's where I post. That's like the most up-to-date stuff. And then, Facebook, as it shares from Instagram to Facebook. And that's just Emily Turnage. And then YouTube, I got videos on YouTube. And I have a website, but it does, it's the same shit. So do what you want.
Yeah, and we'll have all that stuff in the description of the video, so check that shit out.
Do you want to hear this is like a 5-second snippet of what I was working on today?
Yes.
Sure, it might not come through properly, but yeah.
Okay. Well, even more of a tease then. All right, here we go. Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, I gotta fit. Like swish. But anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, man, for sure. If you need some bass on that, I'll fucking throw some bass.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I love that.
Good.
But yeah, thank you for talking with us, and hopefully we see each other soon when this stuff slows down.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, man, we miss you, dude.
Yeah, I miss you guys too. I can't wait to jam.
For reals, dude. Well,
I lost you again, right when I'm saying bye.
Well, all right.
All right.
Later, dude. Peace.